Hello everyone, and welcome back to Decks and Dials. Today I wanted to talk about a very inexpensive Magic the Gathering product, because with all these new collector boosters and set boosters, and there's lots of products that you can buy. I mean, how about those VIP Double Masters boosters for $100, all right? So there's lots and lots of people who probably correctly believe that Magic is getting pretty damn expensive, but there are still some very inexpensive products that have a lot of good value, even for players who have been playing for a while, as well as newer players who are looking to get into the action. So specifically today, I want to talk about the new 2021 Arena Starter Kit, which I believe has a couple of really great value items inside that I think will be valuable to both newer and older players alike, as I mentioned. So let's have a look inside to see what we have. Now, these starter kits have been around for a while, right? But I believe that this year's has been probably the best in terms of the actual value of the cards that you get. So there's a couple of cards in here, so I'll show them to you in a minute, that, you know, depending on how much you pay for the set, that some of these cards basically make the entire purchase worthwhile for you. So another new thing that we have in this year's edition that we didn't have before is these little folding deck boxes, which I find to be really valuable, because if you want to keep the decks together as they are, maybe if you want to play with somebody you know, a friend, a relative, it's good to have something to keep them in and not have to buy an expensive deck box just to store these low-cost decks. So it's nice that they include something that you can just put them into and keep them together as a set. So one thing that I really liked, just even before knowing what cards were inside, is the colors. So these are green and black decks. Now, green and black are extremely popular colors. In fact, they're two of my favorites. So I'm a big fan of green, black, and white specifically. And with them, right off the bat, we get two very useful foil cards. We have Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose, and Kogla the Titan Ape. Now, Vito is the more valuable one here, right? He goes into a whole bunch of decks. But Kogla is no slouch either, right? There's a couple of decks that I can put him in right away. And yeah, it's a great card. Does something when it enters the battlefield. It's expensive, sure, 6 mana, but it's green, and green ramps very, very easily. So I really like it. I like, in fact, both cards a lot, and I have spaces in decks for both of these. So it's good to have these in foil. But that's not all, because we also get a whole bunch of other decks, or rather, a whole bunch of other cards that are quite valuable to have within these decks. Not that one, obviously. That's a pretty worthless card. But if you're gonna play this with somebody who's new, or if you're new yourself, right? These are pretty straightforward cards to play, right? Another really great black card. The Demonic Embrace goes into many decks. Those are probably the two big hits in the black deck, but we have a couple of common cards and uncommons that are quite useful to have as well, right? That's a pretty decent removal spell, right? Not the best, but if you're a newer player, Serrated Scorpion also goes into a whole bunch of decks. Let's see what we have here. Yep, and a whole bunch of land. Now, you'll notice that these aren't organized the way that previous starter decks have been. So before, they came in a specific order where it was basically a self-contained tutorial. So you just play them from the top without shuffling, and you have instructions that tell you what you can do at each stage. So they don't do that anymore. Rather, they instead direct you to the arena tutorial, which, honestly, given the epidemic situation, is probably the more reasonable thing, because that's going to be the way that, you know, most of us can play right now. But still, would have been nice for you to still have that self-contained tutorial in the paper version, so that when you actually open it up with maybe a sibling, your kid, if you have one, maybe a friend that you're trying to get into Magic, so that you can basically go through it with them immediately and start playing, rather than first have to figure out how to play by going somewhere else. Now, that's of course if you are a newer player or want to play with a newer player. Whereas, if you and whoever you're playing with already know how to play, then, none of what I said just matters. So here we have Classification, not so useful, but Tree Shaker Chimera, Iron Scale Hydra, they go into some decks. They're not totally useless, but Yorvo actually goes into a number of decks. Any kind of counters decks really like this one, so a really great card there. So, as I said, a minimum of 4 useful good rares. So Kogla, Yorvo, Veto, and Demonic Embrace. All good cards to have. Let's see if we have anything else that's worthwhile here in the commons and uncommons. Line of War Visionary. Pretty decent for your ramp decks, because it draws you a card, it ramps. Ram through, decent removal, and a way to get in that final fatal bit of damage to your opponent, and that's about it. So as I said, a couple of good cards, and considering that this set of 2 decks costs, I got them for I got it for €6. You might see them for a bit more somewhere else, maybe around $10, $12. But either way, those 4 basic cards, or rather the 4 rare cards that I mentioned, they already make it worthwhile. So everything else that you're getting is just gravy. Now, you also get some arena codes that give you both of these decks in Arena for 2 players. So it's really good for the person that you're playing with. Perhaps you got it together, or, if you got it for yourself, you can give the code to somebody else, get them something nice, and let them have these decks for free. So very short video today, not much else to say about it. It's really good value, and the only thing that it's lacking that was present in the previous versions of the starter sets is that built-in tutorial, which is too bad. I think they could have done it, because all it is the organization of the cards and actually formulating the tutorial, which they already had. So I think they could have done it, but they didn't bother. They decided to go with the arena tutorial instead. As I said, too bad, but not really a deal breaker, because I think the cards themselves are a big, big improvement over what we used to get in the previous sets. So that's it today, and I'll do some more expensive products in upcoming videos, as well as more watches, playing cards, regular poker cards as well. So stay tuned, and please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you know when these videos go up. And if you have any feedback, if you'd like to see reviews of specific products or discussions of specific topics, please just write it in the comments below, and I'll be sure to read them and take all that into account. So happy holidays. Hope everyone's having a good 2021, and I'll see you soon. Bye.